They're called shadow warriors, a small band of CIA agents who carry out the dangerous work of covert missions. David Martin sat down with two of the best to talk about life undercover.
Contact front. Set.
Ric Prado at work. The bullets are real.
Moving! Move!
He's retired from the CIA, but still trains local SWAT teams in St. Augustine, Florida.
You're a dangerous man.
Not to my allies.
He calls himself a meat eater. And he's not talking about his diet.
This looks like a meat eater's room.
Well, it's once you retire, you can put all this stuff on the wall.
Sometimes you have to play hardball.
That's right.
So you got the tools of the trade here.
Yeah, I like knives because they scare me, so I figure they scare everybody else too, so they're a good weapon to have.
Prado spent 24 years with the CIA and has written a book called Black Ops, The Life of a CIA Shadow Warrior. It begins in Cuba when Fidel Castro came to power and seized the Prado's coffee roasting business.
Castro cracked down really, really hard.
The family gathered for a final dinner together before putting their 10-year-old on a plane to the U.S. by himself.
Imagine putting your only child on an airplane to a country that you've never been to with no guarantees that you are going to be able to follow for freedom.
He lived in this orphanage until his parents made it out 8 months later and settled in Hialeah, Florida. In 1971, he joined the Air Force and became a pararescueman.
I loved it.
If you loved it so much, why'd you get out?
Vietnam was gone. My dream was to go to Vietnam.
So no war, I'm out of here.
Exactly. Yeah, no real mission.
He found his mission in the CIA, working undercover with anti-communist rebels at jungle camps in Honduras.
What was your job?
I was the only CIA officer operating in the camps. All the training that they got, I was the one conducting that for them. It was the best job I've ever had.
The rebels were called Contras, and like him, they had fled a communist revolution, this one in Nicaragua, and were trying to take back their country.
So the Contras were your kind of people.
I love them. I saw what that communist octopus monster did to my family, what it did to my country. To be here helping these individuals who have faced the same monster doesn't get any more basic than that.
He took a group of lobster divers and turned them into frogmen who blew up a pier at a Nicaraguan port.
Here I am, a little Cuban guy, and now I just cut off some of those tentacles of that damn octopus.
The Sandinista dictatorship of Nicaragua, with full Cuban Soviet bloc support.
The kid from Cuba was the point man in what became known as the Reagan Doctrine.
Support for freedom fighters is self-defense.
But some Contras were accused of atrocities.
These guys were definitely bad, but they were the exception. The majority of the Contras that I worked with were simple, God-loving, they're very religious, going in harm's way just to get their country back.
It all came out when this CIA plane was shot down over Nicaragua, and one of its crew, a former Marine, was captured.
My name is Gene Housenfuss.
First thing they teach you when you go out, you shake down, make sure you don't have anything that compromises you. She had all kinds of stuff. So that blew the whole program out of the water.
It was carrying small arms.
Boom. It all goes to hell.
So it was very demoralizing, not only for me, for everybody that was involved in the station. How could something so good go so wrong?
Did the Department of Defense help circumvent Congress and the law as part of the weapons for Contras deal?
It mushroomed into the biggest scandal of the Reagan administration. But Ric Prado's name never surfaced. Still undercover, he stayed on the front lines of the CIA's black ops against communist insurgencies in Peru and the Philippines.
I got called up to headquarters by our Office of Medical Service. They wanted to do a psych eval on me of why I was going from danger post to danger post.
So I got to ask you, what did you tell the psychiatrist?
I believe in what I'm doing, and I'm good at what I do, and I am trying to pay back to the bad guys what they did to my family.
But with the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of communism, the bad guys were changing. In 1995, Prado was assigned to track a rising financier of terrorism named Osama bin Laden. Prado had never heard of him, but he had heard of the CIA operative who had been watching bin Laden.
There's only one Billy Wall in the world.
That's right. Now 92, Billy Wall is a legend in the world of black ops. He took the CIA's first surveillance photos of bin Laden, who back then was living in Khartoum, the capital of Sudan.
I did take plenty of pictures of him, yes.
So how many photos do you think you took?
1,000.
If you're close enough to take those kind of pictures, are you close enough to shoot him?
Yes, sir. And we requested it many times. You can put that down there. Could have killed him every day of the week.
But Waugh's main target was this man, a notorious terrorist known as Carlos the Jackal, who had orchestrated the spectacular kidnapping of OPEC oil ministers in Vienna in 1975. He was the world's most wanted man, living in Khartoum, where Waugh found him and took these pictures.
Where'd you take him from?
The 5th floor of my hideout, and he's across the street from me.
The Jackal was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Bin Laden remained a free man.
Was there any thought to trying to take bin Laden out?
Yes, of course. Unfortunately, the political fortitude wasn't there yet. We could have kidnapped him at that time, but we were not allowed to do so.
Obviously, if bin Laden had been taken off the landscape, a lot of history would have been very different. But the CIA can't just go around the world kidnapping every fledgling terrorist.
Okay.
So when you say there wasn't the political will, should there have been the political will?
I think so. And I'm not saying that we should have killed bin Laden at the time, but abducting him and getting him into interrogation and see what he would cough up, I think that would have been something doable and justifiable.
3 years after 9/11, Prado retired. Frustrated, the CIA had turned down his plan for going after terrorists.
How do you justify a target being taken out by a drone, but they're abhorred by the fact that you're willing to put a bullet in the same single person's head? And that's why I retired. My time had come.
A lot of people are going to listen to you and say, there's a great America. And there are going to be people who listen to you and say, whoa, who let that guy loose?
Or who didn't let that guy loose? And what would have been the difference if we would have taken out bin Laden when he was in Khartoum? Chances are 9/11 would have not happened.